everybody. Welcome to episode, one of my favorite numbers, 77 of the show No Particular Reason with your host, Kerri Lewis and Yanko Yankov. And this show really is about no particular reason because as we were getting ready to go live, Yanko totally messes up my world by telling me a story about cutting off a chicken's head. And it's quite an interesting visual, Yanko.
Well, I didn't describe it with details or anything.
Oh, but I can only imagine. I'm like,
It's
okay.
it's a great story. Well, for those that don't know, I was born and raised in Bulgaria, and up there, people source their animals. They don't go to the market. Well, now they do, but small towns and villages, you have to chop the chicken's head to, prep it for for food. So that's why I was telling Gary my first skill, and that's probably going to be my last skill. But that was
I
so
just
many years ago.
asked. I actually wanted to ask you about that. So you answered. We are in sync. You answered my question.
Yeah. Um, I don't
So
know.
the
I
chicken.
don't know. I never been into hunting, doing that kind of stuff. My brother is really into hunting. He goes hunt deers, brings them in, dresses them. Sometimes I help him, but I don't enjoy it. Last time when he brought up a deer and we had to kind of dress it and get everything cut, and I help him move it from the truck back to this bench when we are prepping it. Um, it felt weird, not like disgusting, but it felt like I'm looking myself, getting myself to cut myself, kind
Yeah.
of. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
easier when you separate yourself from the other, and then it's not you anymore. But
Well,
yeah,
so let me ask you this. So you go fishing with your son, which you love. Do you eat the fish?
no, we do strictly catch and release. And
Okay.
I might have been telling you that story that the last time the fish swallowed the hook really deep, and I have like a pliers that can go deeper and they touch the hook without doing a lot of damage to the gills or anything. But for some reason, this one bleeded a little bit, and the little guy kind of get scared, and he was like, "Don't kill it, daddy, don't." And I'm like, "I'm not killing it, man, like we're gonna be okay." And it was funny though. I knew this fish is not gonna leave, but we did our best. We put it back in the water, and then as I was putting bait on his rod to go fish again, the fish kind of bellied up in the water, and it's just kind of like trying to swim, and he goes like, "Oh, it's dying, it's dying." I'm like, "No, she's saying hello, she's not dying."
You know what's interesting? So I can I abstain from killing anything. Like my kids know I'm not going to kill a tick. I won't kill. I just will not kill anything because I like you. Like it's energy. But I'll never forget reading in the book Biography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. He talks
Hmm.
about the fact that they overfed a deer, and then the deer was dying, and all of Paramahansa's disciples were trying to, they were scared, so they were trying to save this deer right after this incident happened. But then Yogananda went into meditation and he tapped into the deer who said, "Let me die," because it wanted to go into back into the energy source. So I always find it interesting because kind of like that fish, right? But also when I'm driving and I see a bug splat on my windshield, I'm like, "Oh." And interestingly enough, I thank it because it gave me an opportunity to bear witness to it transitioning into another experience, which, but I would never purposefully um take a life. You know what I mean? I just can't. And people ask me, they're like, um, would you do that? Hang on, I'm having issues. Something's being weird. I am doing that. What are you talking about? Go away. It won't let me upload the chat. Anyway, Exceptional Living 101 from Instagram. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. We appreciate you. If you ever want to jump on the show, we would love to have you. Um,
Yeah.
shared life lessons. But yeah, so I always think about that. And I'll share another story. And this is I mean, I've thought about a lot of things and I have come to realize, right, our beliefs and our thoughts create our reality. But I'll never forget one of the most profound moments that I had was I remember thinking to myself, you know, the starlings, how they swoop in a huge flock and they go in the air, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
go close to
Mhm.
the car. And I thought about myself, I'm like, man, I hope I don't hit one day because they come so close. I kid you not, 2 days later, I'm driving with my older daughter down our country road. And sure enough, whoop, and I clip one. And of course, they're tiny and I'm going 30 miles an hour. So the bird died. So I loop around and I open the door to pray over it. But then I start hysterically laughing because it was reinforcement that and my oldest daughter was staring at me mortified. She's just like, Mom, you just off the bird and you're sitting here laughing. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think, but it's not for the reason you think it is. My God.
It's not for the reason you think I'm laughing.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean,
Well, well, I was gonna say, perspective is everything, because like when you were saying about the fly getting in your windshield, um, I've thought about it too, because like, what's the lifespan in a bug or a mosquito? We have this in this body, we have this lifespan, and then it's born in the morning and dies in the afternoon. Or we were talking with somebody else about cicadas the other day, because the cicadas are now falling off the trees or dying. And the conversation went on like, oh, they're just like being underground and for so many years and come out of trees and have this brief moment of joy or whatever. I'm like, how do you know you're not a cicada? Like, maybe it's joyful to be underground for so many years when you sleep and dream or whatever. Like, you don't know. You have a different type of experience. So it's kind of the same with the mosquito. You come in, you get what you get, and then you go on, move on in a different form, and energy transforms. It doesn't stay in a one form.
yeah. Yeah, but I also I do really feel strongly that it's not my place to expedite the process of any material, right? Any material things departure from this world, and it's so interesting because I remember reading Wayne Dyer, and he talks extensively about how he was crushing it at a tennis match. He's just living his best life. He's an older guy. And then when they were in a break, he saw a bumblebee that was exiting, it was dying. And in his mind, he made up a story that he was going to help it. So he stepped on it. And it was an altruistic gesture until that's all he thought about. And then the match that was going amazing ended up he lost it. And so it always causes me to think. And so when I was on a 5-mile walk one day, I came across this beautiful like green caterpillar that was wounded. It had a huge gash in it. And it seemed to me from my human
Mhm.
perspective that it was suffering. So part of me wanted to alleviate it, but I didn't. Instead, believe it or not, and there were cars driving by. I knelt down, I prayed over it, and then I got up and went on my way. And I was just like, I don't know if the gift was that I was able to bear witness to this thing or what, but I'm just gonna keep it moving.
Well, for that perspective, because you create the reality and you're the creator. When something happens like that, then you create a better outcome for whatever that different form it's going to be in the next time, or whatever that energy is going to move into in a way. So prayer is not like you're praying, but you're actually creating, because you're infusing it with your desire to have a better form life or whatever next time. If that makes any sense.
But even that is an assumption because who am I to know?
Well, you create your reality, right? You just said it a little bit ago when you were talking about the birds, and you manifested like how you're hitting a bird. So,
I feel like
so are you contradicting
the
yourself? Are
wind.
you like, maybe I'm not creating the reality?
No,
I
I get
don't
it.
know.
I get well, so I do want to tap into this because I shared this with somebody earlier this week. There's a situation where two forces were really pushing for control, and as a
Hmm.
result, an accident ended up occurring. And instead of recognizing that each individual is coming from force, now they're exacerbating the force through further conditions, getting lawyers involved and all this stuff, which is then, and this is so I love being able to watch this stuff unfold now because I can look at it from an objective point of view. Like I don't tie into it, but as I'm watching it unfold, I'm seeing the force continue to build, and the force is adding pressure and stress into the situation. And that's when I always encourage people. I'm like, what can you just let go? Can you just walk away and let it go? Because while we don't know what the outcome is, I know that there's not going to feel like be that built up pressure and expectation of an outcome when you're not trying to control the situation, which ultimately unfolded in the first place because two individuals were trying to control the outcome of a situation.
Well, subconsciously, or on a deeper level, you do, because you're like, oh, I'm just gonna let go, but then you keep thinking about it. And then you're like, oh, I'm just going to
A
let
hundred
go and
percent.
I'll wait what happens. But then you're still sending the energy to the outcome you're expecting, because you have the desire, and that's what building it up. Um, that's why a lot of the texts are saying, cut the desire for the outcome. Like, actually, don't have an outcome in head. Like, whatever happens, happens, because like it's hard, because you're gonna desire it, you're gonna be like, well, I prefer this way. You have preferences because there is idea of you inside that's running the show. um, but when there's no desire, you're just doing things, and you don't have a certain goal, like if you're gonna finish faster or slower, or if you gonna do whatever you do at a certain pace or whatnot. It's all different. So that's when everything happens. But I wanted to touch upon something else we are talking about with the killing. Some of the texts in the Bhagavat with the Arjuna, with the Bato and everything, like they didn't want it to.
Oh yeah, they wiped
Right.
out an entire
So
army.
a lot of the
Hmm.
times, in this is where cause and effect comes in, because you've done something and now you gotta get the fruit of the product you've done. So you might be forced to harm something, because that's the payoff, or maybe that something hurt you, and now you gotta return the favor or get the karma to run out. But if there's no desire, then you're not sending the energy, therefore you're not creating an outcome, and then you're just running off an old karma. Whatever comes in, you just take it. You don't reflect back on it, and you don't create more. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, that's weird.
Yeah. Now, now,
I'm.
now you're in the dark.
Can you
Yeah, I
hear
can
me?
hear you, but you went dark.
Oh, I
Ah,
wonder
there you
what
go.
that was. Oh. You know why I was looking at the frozen picture? I'm like, wow, my eyes are twinkly. So that was pretty cool.
I was thinking,
Oh, look at who's joining us. Hello, Miss Elena.
yeah,
Um, yeah, well, it's so funny you say that because I've given that some thought, and then I was just like, you know what? I don't need to think about this. But Gandhi, right? Gandhi showed up as love and dude got shot. I mean, like, but and then Martin Luther King, although there's so much narrative that says that he manifested being shot too, because he was joking right before he was shot that he it would get assassinated. And I that's why I tell people, like, they don't realize how powerful their tongue is. I will never forget, right? Like, two things. Kobe Bryant, right, is close to Kobe, will tell you he used to tell them, I want to die young so I go out as a legend. Homeboy died young. He went out with a bang and he is a legend, right? And then Noah Lyles, who I was watching, he's a sprinter for the US and he's phenomenal. And I love watching him. And he has this really gregarious personality and stuff. But Nana and I watched this documentary where no BS, the day before his second run, where he would have broken the second, like he would have been on top of the 400-meter and the whatever other run that he was doing. He joked with the girl, hey, you don't have COVID, do you? Guess what? Homeboy got COVID and ran with COVID during the run and didn't achieve the, like, and that's where I tell people, hello, words have power. And you know, uh the conversations I have with beautiful spirits, sometimes they get aggravated with me because I'm like, I encourage you to consider a different way of conveying that message. And I'm constantly, reframing how I say things because I understand will come to manifest.
well, not only speaking, but like thinking
Thinking,
it
oh, I 100%
right.
know. But
So
to
it's
be able
not
to watch
about
those two things
yeah,
unfold was like,
but thinking it's also creating or feeling, like Neville Goddard says, the feeling it's the key. Like when you have the feeling that something is done, you already have done it, then you manifested it. It happens.
yep,
But that's also true. In the higher your vibration is, the faster you manifest things.
yeah,
Like you think
100%.
it, and then within like seconds or something, they come through. And then there were stories about something like that in the afterlife or whatever from yogic perspective. And I was kind of thinking of that too, because like, what if we're here to learn how to control what we manifest, and how faster will we control or what we want to manifest? Because here's a delay, and you get the chance that if you didn't thought about it and you manifested the wrong thing, you can still course correct to get the
Yep,
right outcome that you want. It's not like instant. But in the story, somebody went under a wishing tree and fell asleep, and then when you wake up, didn't know that it's under a wishing tree, and fell hungry and said, "Oh, I wish I had some food." And then food appeared, and he was hungry. Didn't ask why the food appeared. He started eating and everything, finished the food, then he thought about like, oh, I want to have some wine. Then wine appeared, then you start eating and everything, drinking it. And then the next thing, I think, I'm not 100% remembering how the story goes. And you correct me, you can join if you know how the story goes too.
I've
But
heard this
then the
story.
next thing it was that he said, now that I'm eating and I'm not thirsty anymore and everything, I wonder what it felt like if I had a bunch of money. And then a bunch of money showed up, like gold and things. And then he gets scared and he said, oh, now I got all this gold and everything. Um, and I'm in the woods under this tree. What if bandits came in and get the gold and all this and Sure enough, next thing the bandits are coming in, and then he got scared because the bandits are there, and he started running for his life and thinking, "Whoa, what if they kill me?" And sure enough, they caught, they killed him because he let his mind running and free reign and not realizing what's happening because it was just instant manifestation. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting you say that. I was having a conversation with I just love this spirit. She's like awesome. But that's the thing is, and this I can only speak from my experience, but I felt much denser the more I was in thought. Like the more I let my like
Mm.
overthinking, my trying to control outcomes and stuff, denser energy like weighed down. But as I started to heal and release, expectations, judgments, control, all those things, I am in a lighter energy. And to your point, I can say I have bore witness through experience to the fact that I manifest things faster. Both things I, enjoy and things that I'd rather not manifest. And it's interesting because you and I have both talked about this like on the phone. We're like, yeah, things are manifesting. I don't know that I exactly wanted to experience that, but I sure did, and it's quite funny.
Because that's the other thing with the mind. In a moment when the mind runs the show, or deeper mind, you have a desire for something, you don't really know if you want it, but at that very moment you wanted it. And but because
Yep.
it's not instant, maybe a couple of months down the road you have a different perspective. You no longer need that, or you no longer have the same
Yeah.
desire. And then that comes in because you're not attached to it anymore. You're not putting thought, you're not going back. It's kind of like digging the seed and looking if it's sprouted yet. Is it there yet? No, putting it back in. And then if you're running an autopilot and you don't recognize that you wanted this like 6 months ago or 3 months ago or maybe even 10 years ago, then you take it as something that it's not good anymore, because it's like, well, I needed it then, and now what is this good for? You know what I mean? Like when I needed it, I didn't have
I love
it,
that.
and
It's
now
true.
that I don't need it, I have it. So
Yep.
what is this good for? Like, in no appreciation, not even saying, "Oh, I created it and it's come true. Thank you. I'm grateful for having it." You know what I mean?
And that's why one of the greatest understandings that I have come to know is truth for me is thank you. And I say, I mean, literally, thank you, thank you, thank you. And interestingly enough, Nana and I were at a Little Wayne concert this past summer. And something that I, observed that really fascinated me, because Nana and I go to a ton of concerts. Like I see a lot of artists, I love music, is every single song, Little Wayne, thank you so much. And it came from such just like this soulful gratitude. I'm like, yeah, but like you could tell he was just in such deep gratitude. And so even so and I want to bring this home for the listening audience because I think this could be helpful for you. In the past, when I didn't realize the power of my thoughts, I would, let's just say I was off in Nunu Land driving and all of a sudden I had to break fast and I was like, oh fuck, what the, but right. And I would do that. But then now I recognize it. And the only reason I use this example is it happened this morning. I was singing, I'm like jamming in the car, and all of a sudden I had to come to a hard stop and I say, thank you so much. And I just was like, thank you. I didn't judge the fact that I almost rear-ended the person in front of me or not. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. Thank you. And I kept bopping around to the song I was jamming to. And in that, I mean, I experienced joy. And for me, the greatest work I still continue to do for myself. And this is something that I hold myself personally accountable for, is not judging. Because I don't know. I don't know why things are unfolding the way they are. I don't know why one of my daughters is this way, one of my daughters is that way. My parents are this way. Yanko's that way. I really work to. And it's not that I don't judge, guys, because I'm a human. It's just that I recognize it very quickly and then I reframe it, or I'm like, well, how do I know? Because immediately I release that expectation or idea of anybody needing to be anything but what they are in this moment because they're exactly what they need to be
Right.
in this moment.
I mean, the power of
Yeah.
manifestation. It's. I mean, to me, it's 100%. In that happens on daily basis. I get reminders. I had a similar experience yesterday. For that fact, just picking up coffee from Starbucks, and I picked up a hot chocolate for my. Yeah, I know. Um, picked up a hot chocolate for my wife, and
Are you longing for the
no, not for the
delightful,
Green Mermaid.
beautiful?
No.
You know that Starbucks was named after Starbuck, who was a character in Moby
I
Dick.
didn't know that. Anyways,
Yep, now you know.
the I'm going through the drive-through, and the guy's like, "Do you want a stopper?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Do you want a stopper?" I'm like, "What?" I'm not like getting it. He's like, "One of those things that play." Oh, I'm like, "Oh, and I get it." Yeah, I said, "Put one in. I don't want it splashing in the car." And when I said that, put it in the car. Same thing.
Is
Get
Splash.
off the parking lot. Somebody cuts me in the front. I step on the brakes, and this thing goes on. And I'm looking, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is gonna splash!" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so grateful that the stopper was in the top."
It's I mean, that's it. I mean, that's super funny because, like, I totally get it. I do it. I when I do that, and that's where I always I and this is, for the listening audience who because I will say I used to fear. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm screwed," because I think all the time, like, I'm so screwed. Like, I'm just go as soon as you sit and say thank you for the lesson, like, I find, and this is just my own experience. I don't it do- I'm not building momentum to have more of that lesson. I'm like, oh, thank you for helping me realize that I just manifested that. And one of the greatest um like profound let me just say this. I had to go back to driving school for how many car
Oh
accidents I've
yeah, I
been
forgot
into.
about
And that was a whole experience.
that.
I did. And that's a whole experience within itself. That was great. I loved every moment of it. However, um, I remember like the pressure had been building. I was working for the company, and then I was helping my little sister open up her business, and I'm driving to Connecticut going through a divorce. Like there's just a lot, right? And I wasn't taking enough time to pause. And so I remember driving one day and saying, something's got to give. I need to release some of this pressure. And I kid you not, I was in 3 car accidents in the span of a week and a half. And I was
You did
like,
release the pressure, yeah.
I see what
You
you did
did
there. I
it.
see there. And I just, even in that moment, I laughed. I was like, I got you. So again, and I just feel like I have just such a deep, profound, overwhelming sense of appreciation for even the times when I'm like, damn, I just burnt my leg because I spilled coffee. I'm like, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I think that creation is hilarious. Absolutely crazy hilarious. I laugh all the
Because it's
time.
ultimately loving. It doesn't like you want to hurt yourself. I'll support you, no problem. Like
A
I'll
hundred
give you
percent.
what you want. You wanted it, so here we go. This is why I say this is
Well,
why I say like don't take it serious. It's here. You're not powerless. You're on the contrary. You're super powerful. Like you decide how you want
mhm.
something to unfold, and you decide what kind of experiences you want to have, and the universe will support you. So if you want to have that experience, have at it. But then don't go and
This is
whine and
why
say, "Well, this is happening to me and poor me and this and that." You wanted it, now you have it. So here we
you
go.
got it. So, and that's I'm just laughing. My daughter's gonna no, she won't. She loves me, and I already told her point blank. I'm like, babe, this is a thing now.
Oh, let's hear the
So
thing.
my daughter's going through it the other day. So, she's moving through something, and it's caused her to have sadness. And I was like, kind of explaining exactly what you just said. And she looks at me deadpan and she's like, Mom, you don't always have to science the shit out of this. I just need to feel sad. And I was
There
like,
you
oh
go.
my
See,
God,
that's what
you're
I was
so
saying. If you feel sad,
and then she felt bad, and I was like, "No, baby," I was like, "That was priceless. Not only did you give me an amazing quote that I'm gonna use on you all the time, but also you shared your true feelings with me, and that alone is a
it
gift
is, yeah.
because she's right, right? Like, I find myself getting frustrated with you sometimes because you go off into Lulu, Nunu, land, and I'm like, dude, bring it home to humanity. But she held me accountable for the very thing I get frustrated with you for, and I was like, oh, I get
Ah,
it. Like, I
there you go. The
totally get
lesson's
it.
coming in. Now you see it. It's getting clear. No, I get it.
I'm like, oh, this is so
I do that
funny.
sometimes too,
Like,
though, because like if I'm sharing with somebody, I'm just sharing because I feel like I can share. Like I'm not sharing to look for advice,
yeah,
or I'm not sharing. I'm just sharing. Like like coffee. Here's coffee. You want
yeah,
coffee? Here's some coffee. You want to hear it? I'll let you know. But like I'm not expecting for you to pay me the coffee back or do anything. I'm just sharing. So it is what it is. Um, and people are in that mindset where they like if you tell them something, they feel like they gotta like tell you or give you an advice or do anything, and it's kind of the same. So it's like you don't have to science the shit out of it.
it
She was
was
just
so
sharing
funny. I
with
was
you,
like,
and
I
she
love you
wanted
so much.
to share with you, and that's it.
Well, you know what though? I would say I did because afterwards we both laughed so hard. So when you think about it, she was able to break up the energy of sadness and joy by me sciencing the shit out of it. And this if I this is with you all the time. If I try to understand things, I immediately feel denser. I feel heavy. I feel ick sticky.
Mm.
I just don't need to understand. And that is such a hard concept for individuals to grasp. But once you start to see the evidence of that and you feel lighter, and to your point, Yanko, you're manifesting like much, it's just you think it happens, you think it happens. There is that is when you have the realization that you are profoundly powerful,
Well,
like
if you
profoundly
want
powerful.
if you wanted something, you could have gone a different way. Like if it was me, I wasn't gonna science it out. I was gonna point the mind to something that'll snap it out of that. Something else that'll just change your way of thinking, and then maybe that'll change the emotion because usually the emotion overrides logic, so there's no thinking when you're emotional. So if you see somebody sitting
100%. I
being
agree.
sad and they're in their sadness and oh my god, it's so sad, everything it's sad, and there you go. And you point them in a different direction, then they can snap out of it. You
100%. It's why I use humor a lot when I interact with people, um,
Well, not
because
only humor, but you can do something that it's unexpected. Like people, or if they're expecting
yeah, I
something a
sing all
certain
the
way.
time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, when you're in flow, you're just in flow. And this is where yesterday I had Fidel and my twin sister on the show. Shout out. That was a lot of
It
fun.
was. I
But
watched you guys when I could.
I
I couldn't join you, but like I supported you.
yeah, it was fun.
That's kind of fun.
I appreciate but that's the thing is what I shared with that audience is what I truly feel like. Authenticity for me is just allowing the present moment to unfold without filter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna show up. Like earlier today, I'm not even kidding you. I told somebody I'm working with a story about sleeping with a guy who lit his dick on fire, and we called him Crispy Dick. Like, the average person wouldn't say that they share a story like that, but like it was flow and it was hilarious and we both laughed hard. And that's the thing. I like, and you know what? You know what's really great about life is my intention every morning. So I say a specific prayer I wrote, and then my intention is always to be a vessel to which love pours through and open to receive love and to laugh often. And I kid you not, from my brother-in-law when we ride into Worcester together to Nana to like working with people to this show, I laugh all the time. And Nana said to me, so I'm 9 years older than him. And somebody had asked him about the age difference and stuff. And he's like, you were more youthful than the average like teenager. And it's like true because I have no filter and I'm not worried about how somebody's gonna perceive me.
I mean, a lot of the energy goes into worrying and doing other things and stressing out the body
100%.
and going in like a mental loops and other things. And if there's no thought, you're just present and you're enjoying. So it's different kind of chemistry in the body. So if you look at it in, if you science the shit out of it, like you say, it makes sense, you know,
Yeah.
to be that way.
Well, I do want to go back to something you said though, because I'm gonna harp on this, and it's not a popular opinion for a lot of people, but it's just from my experience, it's 100% truth. And I've studied it, and Yanko studied it. Dudes, there's no sin. You're not a sinner. You're not a sinner. And this belief that you're a sinner, I think, really keeps people from experiencing how powerful they are. I fundamentally believe it is a
Right.
verbiage that keeps people
Right.
locked and enslaved in
Mm.
conditioning. And so you said something that the universe loves you so much that it's going to give you the experience you want. And that is true. But think about it. And this is where I encourage people. I don't care if you believe in Purple Barney as a creator. I don't care if you worship Booger. I really don't. But the reality is what are you in beholden to in terms of beliefs? And does it free you or does it trap you into this idea that you need to behave a certain way in order to be good enough, worthy, achieve, be loved? Blah, blah. And so I see it all the time, all the time, all the time. And so I'm constantly working to one embody, because I truly believe if I show up fully expressed, which means I'm definitely not gonna make everybody's friends list. They just ain't gonna like me because they don't understand me, and that's okay. Then that gives other people permission to say, okay, well, if she is living an abundant, fruitful, connected, joy-filled life, and she is out of pocket talking about crispy dick, then maybe I can too. And that's why I want to encourage people. My job isn't to tell you what to believe. My job is to offer you a different experience. Consider your belief. And if it's causing you to feel trapped in dense energy, confined, feeling like you have to control or behave a certain way in order to be good enough for God, creation, whatever, all you got to do is suspend that belief, try something new, ask for what you want, you'll experience it. And then that belief went right out the window, and you'll never go back to believing that you're a sinner again,
Well,
ever.
you don't know that.
I know you're going to say people want to
I
have
know.
that
That's why. That's
experience.
why I
People
give
want to have,
him when I sit with people and I have conversations. I don't have a job. I'm just having a conversation. Like if they
100%.
want
I
to
agree.
have that, like you say, we had this conversation before. You say, I don't want to see it in misery. I want to be joyful. And same applies. Like if I'm sitting with somebody and they want to have that experience, I'd be like, "Oh, it's your experience. You want to have it? It's okay."
I mean, and I look at him, I'm like, "Ooh, I see you, I'm be
Yeah,
over here doing
yeah.
the little Happy Looney Tunes dance, and you can be
I
over
mean, cause it
there
might
trying
take
to
them a
find."
little, like a couple of times to have an experience to realize that this isn't something they want. And majority of the times, a lot of the things.
But a lot of people go to their grave,
I
never,
mean, a lot of the
never
people go
changing their experience.
automatic. It's just like
Yeah,
if you have something that you haven't had, like let's battle back a little bit and go back to maybe you being a little kid, yeah, and you wanted to
battle.
have something that you never had. You know, maybe you wanted your parents to buy you this like expensive bike or something, and they couldn't afford to get it, and now you're adult and now you're having kids and you're projecting that on your kids. You're buying them that bike because that was
100%.
automatic, that never went through. You had that desire, you never completed it. So it's not about realizing that this is what happened to you and not just going automatic. It's what I'm trying to say, because there's a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
If I sit and if I want to know if I
Well,
want something, do I really want it, or is this like a unresolved desire, or is this like a neat thing, or do I have to have it, or where's this coming from? In the same way, like, what do I want? What do I want from life? Do I want a fancy job? Is this like a some kind of a dream program that was ingrained on my brain? Like maybe study this to become this, so you don't have to work harder, or oh, there's another program you have to work harder to be able to support yourself, and things come start coming
yep.
up. But if you're just going in autopilot and you're going with your day and things are coming and you're just reacting to the world, then you're reactive. You're not going to change. I mean, it's kind of like the saying that the bird doesn't know that it's trapped because it likes the prison. You know, it's okay. You know, it's fed and it's okay. But if you get a wild bird and you put it in a cage, then it's gonna die because it knows the difference. But if you don't know the difference and you
Yep.
like the cage, you're fed, you have your security, everything. Why would you even want to change? Why would you want to be free? Maybe it's dangerous out there.
Well, that begs the question, though. I don't know. I just think that our spirit, and I don't know this 100%, but like there's just certain things in my spirit just singing, right? I literally yesterday I'm in the sauna and I'm reading Rumi, and the guy next to me looks at me. He's like, "Oh my God, you're the lady who sings." I'm like, all the time, and I loved it. Right? There's there was a big part of my life where I didn't sing. I just didn't. Right? Like not
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'd sing when in my room when nobody could hear me because I'm not a professional singer, and right, all the bullshit that you make up. But I feel that the spirit will be inclined to push you to try a new
Mm,
experience. You'll sit in the shit for a long time, but that shit's gonna become shittier and shittier until you nose deep smelling the shit, and you're like, "Bleh, I gotta." Bleh." And I think I feel that from my experience, it gives you opportunities to shake things up and give yourself permission to
mm,
have a new perspective. It's just whether or not you give yourself that permission. And to your point, so many people are operating so much on autopilot. They're like, "Up, just lost a job. No, I'm not going to look at doing anything different. I'm just going to go apply for a new job. I'm not going to change anything." Where I always encourage people, ask yourself what gift is being presented. Like, what can you do that you haven't done before because things have changed and shifted?
yeah.
And then you have a new experience, and you can make a different choice rather than just going along to get along just because that's the
Mm,
way it's been.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We're not gonna solve life's mysteries or anything. uh,
Nope, I ain't got a clue, and neither do
but the joy though,
you.
that's what I
Just
was
go
thinking the
for
other
the
day.
ride.
What were the philosophers getting out of just sitting and talking? Or maybe I imagine it that way when they're serious and they say, well, if you think about it this way and this comes out, and then the other guy comes on and says, no, 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 I think you're wrong. Maybe this will be the way to go. And yeah,
Well, you know what? I
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. So I was talking to a gentleman, he's Jewish. He's so funny. I love him so much. But he was telling me of a book that takes the Torah, rabbis over the course of like centuries will pick apart like different whatever scripture and add their thoughts. So the
Mm,
whole book is like going over and over and over about different thoughts and different thoughts and different thoughts. And for me, I'm kind of like you. I'm not even just thinking about philosophers. I'm thinking about in a monastery. I'm thinking about, rigid practices that some people are inclined to
yeah.
do. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to do none of that. I'm having a good old time, and I have to believe that I was put in this body to have a good old time, and I don't have to know. I get to have the experience I want in each moment. And if it feels like a cucky experience, I'm going to get out of it and go have a new experience. And I work again. The way I show up is I work to not judge anything, to stay super curious and be like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but there's joy in everything. And that's what I was trying to get at that point. Like those guys are having joyful moments that way
Yeah,
by,
that's true.
stroking their ego. So in a way, we're kind of stroking our egos right now and having a fun
We all
conversation.
100%.
I I have to say it.
I mean, later on, I could be stroking on it, so there you go. I'm always stroking something.
There you go. This is you.
Ding,
Ah, it's so funny though. It's so funny.
oh my, I mean, but again, like, well, yeah, uh, I do have a good time. It's so interesting you say that. So, I want to say a month ago, I was watching Deepak Chopra have an interview with the head of the transplant I don't know, some transplant place in New York. So he is prolifically known in the transplant place for specifically kidneys, but creating the ability to manifest and harvest pig organs and put them in humans because he recognized the need, right? There wasn't enough people dying in order to save another person, blah, blah. So, anyway, when Deepak interviewed this doctor, this surgeon, the surgeon shared a story where he had like he had a genetic disorder in his heart. His brother died unexpectedly at like 30, and he had the
Mm,
same um genetic mutation or whatever, and so he ended up dying, right? So he was in a coma for a month. But during the entire time he was in a coma, he can vividly recall practicing surgeries on people in the 1800s. He didn't know the exact time and he never saw
mm,
himself, but he remembers every single day that he was in that coma, right? That he did a surgery. And then when he came out of the coma to this present moment, it took him a little bit to acclimate because he's like, what the heck? So he had asked Deepak, he was like, well, what do you think happened? And Deepak said, well, you were attached to the character of saving people. And I'm like, oh my
mm.
God. And so,
There,
in that
yep.
respect, you say stroking our own egos. Yeah, I would say that I'm attached to the character of feeling the feeling support other people to break and experience in order to have a new experience, whatever that is. And so, by that definition, yeah, I'm stroking my ego. And it's a
Mm.
good stroke, Yanko. I enjoy it thoroughly.
Oh, you know, we're doing this for no particular reason, but after we're done with the show with all that laughter and laughing and everything, I feel amazing. I got to tell you, like every time is just all the way to the end of the day. I'm just feeling amazing from laughing so hard, and we do that very often, though. Yeah, and we'll probably do the same thing for our
It,
viewers or audience.
well, I mean, here's the thing: we can't attract anybody who's not meant to be here in the first place, even if it's to be like, huh. But I do. I thought about this. My youngest daughter calls me the yapper. She's like, "Yeah, ma, I know you're gonna yap." And at first I was like, "Oh, who are you to tell me I yap?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm a yapper. Okay, I'm a yapper, and I like yapping." But something you said to me I don't know, maybe a couple months ago now, because I have been writing a lot of poetry and
Mhm.
writing music, and now I'm creating uh like clothes for me to wear that are like specifically skulls and messages from source to myself. And so people are like, "Listen, you're that," and I'm like, "Nope, I am not. I'm not going to attach to that, because if I tell myself I'm anything, I've locked myself into that something. And I want to be tapped into and here's the thing, guys, scripture across all religious ideology. Anybody who's not religious, who's tapped into source in a meaningful way, will say we're limitless, boundless, formless, expansive, and free. So by that definition, and as I show up in the world, I'm like, who's to say I can't? If I'm limitless, boundless, and formless, I can create a song. I can be physically fit. I can create clothes. I don't have to lock myself into a specific experience. And I really have a great time doing all those things, because to your earlier point, I don't have an expectation of an outcome. I'm just like, oh, I'm a paint today. I'ma
Yeah,
sing to Yanko because Yanko is my friend and it makes me happy. So I'm gonna sing to him, right? Like, I don't care. Like, I just do.
right.
And then
And
I
and
feel free.
the yeah, and that's the thing that you're expecting. Um, if you're doing a singing or painting or anything, and expecting some sort of result,
Yeah.
or to look a certain way, or to sound a certain way, um, or use technology, or what's pleased to more people, so you please more people. What's like more good for the eye, genetically or whatever. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you're not limiting yourself to a certain role you're playing, because you're playing different roles every day, different times you play different roles. Like right now, we're live streamers, we're shooting breeze, or maybe we're yappers, or we're yapping. Yeah. So,
Yapping.
uh,
I love it.
um, if you,
Yanko, you're getting hip with the language. Now I'm gonna glaze you up.
no, now we're going. Now we're moving to cooking.
No,
Now we're moving to cooking. Hello, everyone. This isn't
my
your
daughter's
favorite cooking
always like,
show. You turned into the wrong channel.
no, my daughter's always like, "Mom, don't glaze me up." And I'm like, "What do you mean glaze you up? Like, hype me up." Like, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
get it."
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're educating me. Nana laughs at me all the time too, because he'll say something and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Mm.
And then he'll send me an urban dictionary definition of what it is. I'm like, oh, okay, now I
I
understand.
mean, One at one point you're gonna realize that language is very limiting, and we're
Oh,
using all
100.
kinds of words or things to describe things or feelings, and in the end of the day it's not gonna be the same thing. But once you experience telepathy and you have that, and you have that exchange going, then you know it's kind of like filling the room. You feel the vibe and you already know what's going on or how the room feels like. So it's kind of the same way.
100.
If you're doing an exchange telepathically with somebody, you already know they don't need to glaze you up or do anything. It's just instant.
Well, you know what though? So I will tell you. So let's bring this home for anybody who's like, "What do you mean telepathically? You can't do that." Um, much like you, I'm in flow. So I don't like if something comes to my heart, I just follow it. And earlier today, I know somebody I love dearly is expanding outside their comfort zone and doing something they have worked
Mm.
tirelessly to do for a really long time, but I could feel their anxiety. Like I'm having a great day, but as soon as I thought about that person, my chest was like so instead of making up a story, I just popped on my little video thing. I said, "Babe, you killing it at life. I hope you enjoy this day, experience it, blah, blah, blah." And I sent it. As soon as I did that, my chest was fine. Now, how they received it is not for me to know. And so that's why I would encourage people. Yanko's spot on. Like when you're connected, you're connected. We are not the human. We are spiritual being having a human experience. And that's why I laugh when people like, "Oh, you're not worried about your daughter? You're not worried that you let your daughter go to the bar and drink?" Absolutely not. I'm not. One, I can tap into her anytime I want. But two, I trust that she can tap into me and reach out to me if she needs help. And that's why I surrender all expectation and control. I don't need to control my daughter. I just have to trust I have to just trust in flow and trust that flow will guide me to what I need to do in the next moment for my daughter.
Well, you don't even have to do that because if we go back to the idea of creating your own reality, all right. I'm not. All right. Let's
True.
let's let's put it
But
as
I'm
an
not my
idea.
daughter, and my daughter
So
have different
so yeah, you
realities.
you time shift. That's what I was gonna say. You're gonna be in a different reality, and the people are gonna be exactly the way you wanted them to be in that reality. So it's not gonna have to change anything outside. It's kind of the same
Mhm.
with dreams. If you're in a dream, you create your reality, you manifest whatever's happening in the dream. And I'm giving that example with the dream because dreams are very realistic. Sometimes you wake up with like a night terror or something, and you feel like it was like real, really, like you were having that experience. Um, so if you go that way, you create that, then in your dream, everyone will support you the same way everything supports you here and now. So why would you
Yep.
even want to go and change something outside where you can change it here and change your reality, change your mind, change your reality?
You know what's interesting? So one of my daughters has been struggling with her job. I'm like, just go quit, find another job. And she's like, no, everybody says I'm going to deal with the same bosses and the same stuff, and it's going to be just as hard. I'm like, well, if you believe that, you
Yeah.
will. And of course, she gives me the stink eye, like, okay, but it's true. I'm like, I have to tell you, quite frankly, after having one job where, like, the boss was a douche and I cussed her out. I was 21. I'll never forget. I ripped her a new hole because the way she treated everybody, and I just wasn't going to stand for it. After that, I never ever had douches for bosses again. I may have disagreed with them on points, but I never allowed myself to be treated poorly by a boss again because I didn't believe that I had to have that experience.
Again, if you create your experience, everything will reflect, and you're just gonna be a mirror of like what you're reflecting. And if something comes out that triggers you, then look deeper within it and find out why you get triggered,
Yep.
and figure this one out.
And then be like, ah, this
Yeah.
didn't serve me. All right, it's 11 o'clock. And for no other reason than it's 11 o'clock, we're going to sign off and say peace and chicken grease until next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next Friday.